What is up, everyone? Today I'm going to do another SSD video. So this time my G4 Cube is the computer that I like to SSD. So if you're interested in this process, stay tuned. Yeah, so guys, there we go. This is my G4 Cube, which in my opinion was an awesome system. But it had a few problems. And the main problem in its time was that although it looks amazing, it's quite underpowered. And it was really pricey at that time, so there weren't that many produced of them, so they are quite rare, and they get them even more rarer after all this time. So the first thing that I want to show you is the boot up time with the original 80 GB Maxter drive. So I have my cell phone ready. So the power button is right up here, it's a capacitive one. So let's start this system up in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, it seems that the power is not really plugged in. So let's check the power cable. Oh, and it started up. That's it. So we are between 55 seconds and 1 minute. That was the boot up time, which is really not that bad. Yeah, so let's have a look at what we have going on with this system. Okay, so now you are a little bit nearer onto the system. The system has a problem with its battery, so the BIOS battery, and therefore it has a problem with the time. It now says that the system clock is before the date 24 of March 2001, and therefore there can be problems with some programs, but that's not what we want to look after. Let's firstly go into about this Mac. There we go. We are on 10.3.9 Panther, and that was the last system of the last version of Panther. We have a 450 megahertz PowerPC G4, and that's quite good. We have 1.5 gigabyte of SD RAM. That was something that I did change. So now let's have a deeper look into the system. So now we are in the system profile. So the CPU type is a PowerPC G4, and it's the 2.9 version. It has one CPU with 450 megahertz, 1 megabyte of L2 cache, and 1.5 gigabytes of RAM with bus speeds of 100 megahertz. And the 1.5 gigabytes are done with 3 512 megabyte RAM sticks of PC 133, and let's have a look at the PCI and AGP cards. We have Rage 128 Pro in this, which I believe was standard, and yeah, it has 16 megabytes of VRAM. It's an ATI card, and it successfully has seen the monitor, which has which runs 1024 by 768 resolution. Let's have a look at ATA cards. So here we can see the DVD drive that is in this machine, and the hard drive. The hard drive is the Maxter 6Y080L0, which is an 80 gigabyte one. You can see that down here. So it says here its capacity is 76.33 gigabytes, and it's an ATA hard drive. So now to the DVD reader in this thing. It is just a reader, not a writer, and it reads CD-ROMs and DVD-ROMs. Let's have a look at SCSI. There's nothing at USB. This machine has two USB 1.0 ports, or 1.1, I'm not sure, but something like that. And it successfully sees our optical USB mouse and USB keyboard, which is nice. There are two FireWire 400 ports, which are listed here. There is a possibility for an AirPod card, but I don't have one in here. And this machine has a modem, which we are not interested in because nobody uses modems at this moment. Yeah, so that was it about this system. I have the Camino, what is it called, browser, the Camino browser, and the Microsoft Office suite on this system, which is running great. So, this system, Panther, is not the most current system that you can use with this machine. The most current one will be Tiger. And in this video I will show you how you put an SSD in this machine, and then I will use my service drive to get Tiger on this machine. So yeah, let's have a look into it. So let's firstly talk about why you would want to have an SSD in this thing. I have a few main reasons. The hard drive which is in there has just 80 gigabytes, and it is quite power hungry and produces a lot of heat. This system is quite special because it has no fans in it whatsoever. So every bit of heat source that we can eliminate should help this system to stay alive. Also, the hard drive is the only thing you can hear in this machine. If you put a CD drive in it, that is another spinning part, but if you have no CD in it, the hard drive is the only thing you can hear of this PC. So if we eliminate this by putting in a much smaller and a lot heat and a part that doesn't produce that much heat, we will increase the lifespan of this PC quite a lot. And by using an SSD, we will get a little bit of a faster operating done with this system. This should help quite a bit if you multitask and stuff like that. An SSD is quite a good thing in such a machine. So, what you will need for this project are those two parts. There we go. This here is an IDE to SATA adapter. They are really cheap, and you don't need an expensive one. This one I think cost like $2 or $3 over eBay. And then of course we need our solid state drive, which this time is another Toshiba 128 gigabytes worth of SSD storage. I tempted to go a lot for those because for old computers they are really good. They are really cheap because you can buy them used on eBay for I think like $30 to $40, and they work greatly in there. I have I think 3 of those running in systems of mine, one in the iMac, one in the Xserve RAID server for the system, and now this one in my G4 cube. Okay, so now let's go over how to do this conversion. So I've already done the first step. The first step is you have to lay down your cube onto the side. Pay attention that you don't scratch the acrylics in there. And the next thing you can do is unplug all of the cables from down here. And now we can admire the magnificence of the styling and of the thinking of Apple of that time. I really appreciate that. It's the easiest PC to work on, in my opinion. It's at least as easy as those old G3 and G4 Power Mac systems with the latch on the side. It's amazing. They were really thinking of the consumer liking to upgrade or to repair their machines, which in my opinion is a thing of the past, and I'm really sorry for that, because it's so convenient. You can upgrade, you can do everything to this machine that you like to do. It really is thinking greatly for the consumers. And if you are looking at the modern machines, everything is soldered in and you can't upgrade anything on them. So I really appreciate those old Apple systems, and I appreciate the engineering that goes into those systems which made this possible. It really is one of the simplest things to do in this PC. So now let's show you how to do that. You have this handle, you just press it in, it comes out, and now you can just lift out the entire PC. So guys, there we have it. This is all of the inside. This is the entire PC, the entire Apple Cube, and here we can have a look at everything in great detail, which I really do like. So the first thing that we are greeted with right over here, this is the dedicated graphics card which is in this machine. So yes, this is a real full-sized graphics card that they were able to fit in here. And as we can see, it is totally passive cooled. So that's great. I really do like and appreciate that. A full-sized graphics card in a PC of this age and so small, that really is amazing. Right here on the side we have the 3 memory sticks, which are 512 megabytes each, and this is the entire that's the highest point you will get it to run with, which is really nice. So this machine is spec'd out. Here on the bottom, I'm not sure if you can see, but there is you could plug a fan into this machine, and the socket is right down under here. So let's have a look at the actual ports of this machine, which are right here on the front. So let's go from left to right. The first port is the network cable, and we have a 10100 Ethernet card. The next thing is we have two Firewire 400s, then two USB 1.1 ports, then the modem right over here. This is the power adapter. Then we have the ADC adapter, which is the Apple proprietary DVI port, which includes USB and power, which at the moment I use for running this small 15-inch display. And we have a VGA plug. So those are the ways to connect your PC up, your cube. So now, after discussing this side, let's have a look at the other side. And this again is really great for upgradability. They really thought about that. So if you want to have your airport card in this machine, you can just pull this thing out, buy your airport card, put it in here, plug the antenna cable in, and boom, ready to go. Really fast process. I really do like that. They really thought about the upgradability of this system. Really nice of them. So, the only thing that we cannot see and cannot upgrade that easily at the moment is the hard drive. So let's change the angle so that we can have a look. There we go. By the way, guys, I have partially disassembled this in excess of this video. There was this heatsink right in here. Yeah, so like so. So you really couldn't see the hard drive whatsoever. But the hard drive is just in the middle of this case, right next to the big ass heatsink of the CPU, because right in here, that is the main card, the motherboard. It sits right here, from here to here, right opposite to the hard drive. So, by the way, this, guys, is the touch sensor, which is used to power the system up. So guys, let's get ready to upgrade this machine. So this machine really shows you what Apple thinks that you as a normal consumer should upgrade and what you shouldn't. The access is nice, and you should be able to upgrade the RAM and the airport card, but the hard drive you really shouldn't. And that shows by, if you have a look at the screws you have to remove. They are torques, which is not the normal stuff normal people have. So Apple really didn't wanted you to have that to do that upgrade, and it's quite fiddly in there as well. What you have to do is there are 4 screws right up there, and then there are 2 screws right here and 2 screws right here that you have to remove. So let's do that. So let's open this thing up. You have to be really careful. When you lift it up, there is a cable that goes right to the touch sensor, so be careful to don't rip this apart. So now let's change the angle so that you can see this thing a little bit better. There you go. This is the hard drive, and the problem with it is that the adapter cable is right on the other side, so I will show you that. The adapter for this hard drive is right here, which also is a nice touch. You just can, this airport expansion card is hinged. You can just put it up, put it away, and now we have access to the hard drive and to the connections. So here we have the Molex, and here this is the IDE adapter. As I've already told you, you have to unscrew this heatsink, which is located right up here, which I've already done, because this is what holds down this machine to this hard drive to the machine. So you have to unscrew it. It's the same Torx wrench that you we have used before. 3 screws, unscrew that, you're ready to go. So now let's unplug the hard drive. The Molex is quite stiff, and the IDE goes right out there, and now we can drive this hard drive out, and there we go. Let's zoom in. That was the old hard drive which lived in this the past few years ago. So there we have it. It's a Maxter Diamond Max Plus 9 80GB ATA hard drive. So yeah, not the greatest thing in the world. It gets quite hot. It uses quite a lot of power. So it's not the ideal thing for this machine. By the way, this was produced on the 11th of July 2003. So it's 2 years younger than the Cube, which means that the previous owner did a hard drive swap. By the way, this is not an original Apple hard drive, you can see that, because original Apple hard drives would have an Apple on here somewhere. So yeah, the original owner did already do an hard drive swap. So there should be no problem by us doing an SSD in this machine, which will get this a lot more storage and a better life in general. So let's do that. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to plug in the hard drive to the adapter. By the way, what I did as well is I've covered the hard drive with a bit of tape, because I don't want to have a short out in this machine, because I don't have an case for this to make this fit the old standard. So it will dongle around in there, and which by the way is quite good because of the airflow. With such a thin profile, we will have a lot of better airflow in this machine. So this will be not a bad thing, but you really have to cover it up in a bit of tape so that from metal to metal we don't have short outs. So let's plug this adapter in, and now will come the hideous process of getting this adapter fitted onto the Molex and the IDE. So we will come from the back, put this in here, and the first thing that I like to do is I want to put the IDE cable in, because there is not much play in the IDE cable. So the IDE is in. Second thing to do is plug in the Molex. So we are done. So now let's put this thing back together. So firstly, let's put this thing in, like so. Now let's have a look at the top plate and position that. And let's screw the top plate down. I like to do this screwing down in a cross pattern because this will secure it more properly. And by the way, those side screws, there's a big one and a small one. The big one needs to go by this metal bar. Like so. And a small one next to it. Okay, we are done. And guys, have a look at how much more clearance for airflow we have in this system with this SSD upgrade. It really makes a difference. So, let's put this machine back together. So, there we go. Put the handle out. Align the disk drive, and then just put it in. Like so. You have to pay attention with the antenna cable, which gives me a few problems at this moment. Let's put it up here and secure it down. There we go. So now let's plug in all of the cables. So firstly the keyboard and mouse combo, then the FireWire, go in here. Then the ADC the ADC cable, which goes to the monitor. And last but not least, the power cable. By the way, I need now to, it started up, and I need now to hold the T button down to get this machine in target disk mode. This is the way I want to load the new system on this machine. So let's do that. I now just hold down the T button. So let's wait. There we go. Guys, we are now in target disk mode with this machine. So let's unplug the keyboard and mouse and plug them into my iMac. And now let's fire up the iMac. So guys, we are now up and running. Here with the iMac G4 and over here with the Power Mac G4 Cube. So over target disk mode. So here the first thing that we can see, the first icon up here is the Firewire G4 hard drive, and down here we have the different partitions of my service drive. There we go. So let's bring the service drive into use by opening Carbon Copy Cloner, which, by the way, guys, is totally free for those older systems, which is awesome, I think. So I have it under Programs. There it is. Let's open it up. As the source, I will put the Tiger, Mac OS Tiger partition of the hard drive on it, and the destination will be the Cube's SSD. So now let's just clone it, and then I will see you later. So guys, success! I successfully copied over the Tiger system onto the SSD of the Cube. which is awesome. I like that. So now let's go and reboot the cube and see how it copes with starting up. So let's have a look if everything worked fine. Oh, it's looking good, guys. It's looking good. We have the gray screen. Let's hope that we get the Apple logo. There we go, the Apple logo. And now we should boot up into Mac OS 10.4.9, I think, which is the current system of OS Tiger, which, by the way, was the last system that supported the G4 Cube. So if that works, then we successfully got the newest system and the latest system for this cube. And there we go, guys. There we go. We still have the problem with the system clock. By the way, I need to plug over mouse and keyboard. There we go. And by the way, guys, the cube is now completely silent. You can't hear anything on it. So this thing really was successful. So now we have the cube. So let's have a look at this about this Mac. We have 10.4.11, which is the last iteration of Tiger. Everything was recognized, so amazing. Now let's do the last thing. Let's make a restart and time it. So I need to get my clock ready. So if you remembered, the last time we had was between 55 seconds and 1 minute. So let's reset it and start the system from new. There we go. And let the timer start. There we go, guys. That's interesting. It actually booted up half a minute slower with the SSD. But I think that is because of the Tiger system, which was the last, and it's quite a lot hardware hungrier than Panther. But the overall thing is that now I have a completely spec'd out G4 Cube, which is running completely silent. So guys, there you have it. That was my tutorial how to upgrade your G4 Cube, which in my opinion is one of the greatest looking designs of an personal computer that Apple ever did. So this was how you upgrade your cube, your G4 Cube, to an SSD and to use the latest system this computer did accept, which is 10.4.11 Tiger. So what we did achieve is a lot better cooling in this machine. A lot of new software is now compatible with this machine, and we have a lot of better airflow in it because of the smaller footprint of the SSD. A lot less heat is spread out by the SSD than the old Maxter hard drive, and it is completely silent. You can't hear anything. The only thing at the moment that you can hear is my normal PC running around in the background. This PC is completely silent, which for 2001, in my opinion, is really a great achievement. So, thank you very much for watching, guys, and have a good one. Goodbye.